Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, the weekly Vanguard podcast, brought to you by our patrons at patreon.com/Nexus at Night. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And fun fact, if you get 3 paper cuts on the same hand in 20 minutes, you will murder 4 of your coworkers. That was my day today. Was just getting paper cuts at work. All day.
Get bodied.
And speaking of paper cuts, we're doing a set review of the first of 2 Clan Selection Pluses that Bushiroad is releasing. And... yeah, exactly. That's our feelings on it.
Yeah, why? What is this? Who is this for?
All the clans, apparently.
See, this is what I was worried about, right? Is that they would announce something new and that we'd still have to deal with this set after we already knew about it.
Right.
That's my
But,
concern. And here we are.
well, luckily now we've gone full circle. So we went from on a YouTube channel to being a podcast on a YouTube channel to separating into its own podcast to making a YouTube channel again.
We did it. We somehow did it.
Yep.
And it took how long to convince you to just put these on YouTube?
Well, I'm the one who told him to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
And he was like, but why? And I'm like, look, I don't know why, but people listen to podcasts on YouTube. And then he was like, oh. And then they did. It was weird.
It's just the time it takes to upload it all. It takes forever. You got to do it for because I got to do it for like all of the RSS feed, SoundCloud, and also YouTube. Like it takes a while.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
understandable.
But yeah. So we're not gonna cover any reprints because this set has a lot of reprints in it. You guys already know what those cards do, but like pretty much every other set review, it's
or if they don't, they can go listen to the episode of that set that we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for all the promos, but like I don't think we care enough to go back for all of them.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So why don't we kick it off here with how do I pronounce this? Cephalath Ader Shin Malcoth Malek. Think I got it.
Good enough.
For Angel Feather, grade 3, 12k, protect gift. When revenge check, if your Vanguard is Archraider Malcoth Malek, you can discard a card and ride him as stand. Also, during your turn, if you have 2 or more protect markers on your circles, all of your front row units get plus 10k. And also on Van, all of your units on rear with a protect marker cannot be retired by any player's card effects.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
I think this card has some interest. So, as of right now, there's no way to call this card during your battle phase in V standard.
Mm-hmm.
But you can use it to. There are ways to like stack it there.
Mm-hmm.
Like on top, ready to take it for damage, like for a rescue check or something.
Yes.
So it is. You can like accelerate this on like your first grade 3 ride, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty neat.
Yeah, because like the original Malcoth Malek allows you to call a board and then you take a damage.
Like, let's say you ride original Malcoth, right?
Yeah.
And then you like set up for the damage check, activate the original Malcoth for a Soul Blast, take a damage. Oh look, it's the other Malcoth. Let me discard a card and ride this guy. Like get another protect gift. Now my front row has plus 10k, and 2 of my units can't be retired.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not bad for your like first grade 3 turn if you can get all those pieces, of course.
Yes. And all of the old Adroid support for Malcoth retired themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this keeps them from doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is the only deck in the game that makes a good case for using Protect 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
it's the actual only one.
I don't know if it's gonna... Well, obviously, V standard is gonna be not a thing come April, so this doesn't really have a lot of premium application, and I guess if you're doing V premium for the 8 seconds that they're gonna keep that alive, then sure, but just
Wondering if you could damage check it with rescue in premium.
Oh, you could.
I mean, almost certainly, but I don't know if you have a way to stack it.
That is a good... Well, I mean, if you just played this and then had, like, the Gabriel Stride...
Well, you would have to stack it, like, the 4th card, right? That's the problem.
That's true.
Because,
yeah.
like, because you have to do drive checks first if you talk with Vanguard.
Yeah.
Which is what's lame.
Aren't there, like, strides that give you rescue checks in main phase? But you don't want that.
But that doesn't give us a restand. That's not what we want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the only one is, like... The only battle phase rescue, even though it's not printed on her, is the first Gabriel Stride.
There's also Holy Road. Say that again?
We don't really care if the card says rescue, literally, but there's just the problem is there's just no way to stack it that deep.
Yeah.
So no cheese for you, I guess. There's Holy Road Angel, which is a grade 2, 9k. Vanguard one. What?
This card's just great.
Yeah. Vanguard on play, look at top 7. Reveal a Malcoth Malet from among them, put it into your hand. Reveal up to 1 normal unit in your hand and put it on top of your deck, and then hard once per turn on that.
Which normal unit are you gonna put on top of your deck? Who knows? I mean, I think this card kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. After what we literally just said, and then also a Persistence Angel, grade 1, 8k. Act on rearguard once per turn, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, discard a card, and put up to 1 card of Malcoth Malet in its card name from your drop zone on top of your deck. So, basically the same thing.
What's kind of dope about, I guess I could have said that for Holy Road Angel, is that it works on Vanguard. So, like, you can even set yourself up into triggering into, things that you need, or I mean, not obviously to put a normal unit up there, but, like, you dig for it and you basically aren't going to lose. Like, if you want to keep everything, you can, I guess. That's what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess if you write it, you're not triggering that turn, which is kind of lame.
Yeah. Oh, there's a grade 2. There's a grade 2 with Rescue that can, like, put the top card of deck in the damage face down, and then you do a rescue check. So if you can stack 2 cards on top, then you could write it in the
But then your Vanguard's standing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Which is kind of, again, defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
No, there's tons of ways to do it if you don't attack with Vanguard. But that's, like, not what we want. So what you need to do in order to set it up is you would have to use, like, a card, like, you would have to call something, and you'd have to call, like, Holy Road Angel during battle. Stack, like, after your Vanguard attacks, to stack it on top. And then do a rescue check afterward.
That might be doable.
Yeah. So maybe if you get one in damage, you can call it from damage. No, because then you have to resolve the whole effect first. So no, you'd have to be. You'd have to do some weird combination of cards for sure. It would be non.
Am I going to have to dedicate myself to a meme build trying to make this work now?
You could just call James.
One thing I will say about the Malcoth stuff is that it is very heavy on soul costs.
Yeah.
The original Malcoth and Persistence Angel and a bunch of other Angel Feather cards, actually. So you can run out of soul fairly easily in that deck. It's just something to worry about.
Yeah, I know that one of the reprints is a grade 1 that puts herself in soul just for a damage swap. So that could help. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but there's, it's something at least.
Yeah, I don't know. You might play that card.
Let's see. Well, moving on to Shadow Paladin, we have Mesmerizing Witch Fianna, who is a grade 3 with a Force Gift, 13k. Act on Vanguard once per turn. You counterblast 1, retire 2 rearguards. Search your hand or deck for up to 1 Witch of Reality Femme, which we'll get to in a sec. Call it to a front row rearguard, and if you search your deck, shuffle. The circle that the called unit is on becomes a Vanguard circle until end of turn. And then also continuous on Vanguard. During your turn, all of your Vanguards get plus 5k for each of your opponent's grade 0 rearguards. And then for Femme, she's a grade 2, 10k. Act on Vanguard once per turn. You can Soul Blast 1. Your opponent chooses 2 grade 0 units from his or her drop zone, calls them to his or her rear guards with greater 1 or greater units. If no cards were called, she gets drive +1 until end of turn.
It's a grade 2.
Grade 2.
Yes. So this is like a more convoluted Blade Master.
Yep.
No, this is like a weird blaster dart.
Yeah, kind of.
It's only on Vanguard Circle, and it's a grade 2.
Yeah, because Fianna turns it into a Vanguard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so it is a more convoluted Blade Master.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, okay, it's just you get twin drive if you have all the things going on.
Yep.
If there's nothing to call. So I wrote an article on our Patreon, at patreon.com/Nexus at night, and basically it's a very long rant about why I am disappointed in the Shadow Paladin Witches the entire time, and that includes this new stuff. So I'm just going to link that in the description because I already got all my rage out then. And all I can say is just C-. So, yeah, that's where I stand.
Like, so you can, like, maybe retire 2 if your opponent doesn't have, like, a disappearing board, and desperately hope they're not just playing something that does not care. Like, I think most of the meta decks.
Yeah. So, like, okay, the card advantage is barely a plus if everything goes well. So you lose 2 rear guards for Fianna's cost, so it's -2. You get Femme, which puts it at a -1. Femme has a drive check on her own, so that's a wash. And unless you do this turn 3 going first and the opponent never guarded with triggers, which is very unlikely, you get a twin drive out of Femme, which is a +1. That's if everything goes well.
This card's, like, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's, so much stuff that could have been done differently that would not have been broken at all, and they just didn't. So, yeah.
Well,
Doesn't even, like, turn your opponent's Vanguard into a grade 0. That, like, doesn't matter anymore because of how they changed the guarding rules. And, like, trigger PGs either way, but, like, at least that would have given your front row, like, 8k.
Yep.
Oh, wait, no, 7k, because starters are 6k.
Yeah. There's also
they hope you could just never replace these zeros. Like, your opponent can just never replace the zeros on their board.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. I mean, in Standard at least, you have vanilla triggers, so it's better. Because one of the problems in, like, Legion and Giro was you had triggers with effects. So they were just going to be like, oh, I'm going to call this catch doll. Thanks, mate. I'm going to call a new card. You know? Mm-hmm. So, slightly better, but it's very hard to kind of square that circle when you're... Essentially, you're still giving your opponent cards. And they can turn that cards into other advantage. So...
Yeah. And you can always just play Blade Master and just retire your opponent's whole board.
See? That's the spirit. Alright. Cold-Blooded Witch Lurba, grade 1. Okay, eating mochi during a podcast was such a bad idea. Holy shit. Grade 1, 8k on rear. This ability's cost is reduced by Counterblast 1 for each of your opponent's grade 0 rear guards. So it's meant to capitalize with Fianna's thing. On play,
so it's meant to be free. Got it.
Yeah. On play, Counterblast 2 and put a grade 2 or greater normal unit from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck and draw a card.
So put a Femme back, draw a card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But, well, okay. If you're doing this, it's implied that it's late game. So it should be free, but not always going to be.
Yeah, I
the
feel like
case.
if you're not doing this, like, the turn you activate, what's her name?
Fianna,
like, you're missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
This is the only way you can recover from your giant minus, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you can retire a grade 2 with her skill, so you'll always just lose your return.
Yeah. And possibly just Counterblast 2 for this very medium skill, because your opponent had no grade 0s to call.
Yeah, you retire the Femme you drew naturally so that you can put it back and search and get a different one.
Man, Shadow Witches are so bad.
Uh-huh.
Because God forbid you draw one naturally.
Well, at least they're reprinting the main, which just gets you a free card.
Yeah, you could play it in Witches, I suppose. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the reprints in this set are good reprints. You know, Nemen,
We found one
Charon,
good witch among all of the support.
and it's a reprint. I mean, in a world full of Mordred and, I guess, Claret Sword and, you know... What's the guy that's like their finisher that's used in every deck? The rear guard.
The dragon?
Whatever that dragon is.
Lunge.
Danger Lunge. Danger Lunge, yeah. So in a world full of Danger Lunges and Mordreds and Blasters and Luard, it just doesn't justify its own existence. You know?
Yeah.
Like, especially in a clan like Shadow Paladin where the perfect art is like $12 or something, although it is getting reprinted in this set, so that's good. It just doesn't earn its seat at the table. If this was like the very first wave of releases in V-Series, maybe, but not good enough. Then we got Spectral Duke Dragon, which we had an episode about this in the past, but we're going to do it again, because, of course... wait, did you guys just pick the clans you did just to make me go a bunch of times in a row?
No.
No.
It just happened to work out this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I don't get to talk for, like, 2 more clans.
Oh, God. All right, here we go. I'll try and make this quick. Spectral Duke Dragon, Grade 3 XL Gift, Gold Paladin. Continuous on Van. If you have a Black Dragon Knight Vortimer in your soul, this unit gets plus 1k all the time, and if your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, it gets a crit all the time. And then Otto, Vanguard, once per turn, end of the battle that it attacked, counterblast 1, retire 3 rear guards, stay in this unit. It gets drive -1 till end of turn. If your damage zone has 4 or more cards, it gets drive +1 instead of drive -1.
You can play this with Pelennor.
Yeah, you can.
I don't remember what I said about this the first time, but it's like a pretty hefty cost.
Yeah, pretty hefty cost, like, pretty medium, because even with all the calling gold Paladin does, you're, like, basically wiping out your back row.
I guess, like...
And, yeah, I feel like I guess the thing you could do with this is just triple restand with Pelennor, because, like, you're just kind of hoping that your opponent will take one of the rear guards after having to guard the Vanguard a bunch of times.
I mean, if it's got a crit, then that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you go second, you could use this with Pelennor. You don't want to take the crit, so they'll, like, guard this twice and have to take one of the rear guards, and then you can use Pelennor.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks that you have to get all your plussing from this engine. I guess if you ride Vortimer, this card's, like, better, because you'll actually get, like, 2 cards for free. But if you miss that, it's, like, atrocious.
Yeah.
Just like it was
similar to the old Spectral Duke, right?
Yeah.
Where if you miss the right chain, you're like, oh, cool, this is awful.
Yeah.
They really captured its spirit.
It sure did. Which I think is what I said before, so, you know, whatever.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Pretty sure we just talked about how this felt like it was just straight up copying the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of these cards that are like retrains of super old cards kind of ended up being like that.
Yeah.
To varying degrees of, effects, but... Like, okay, so the Grade 2 Vortimer, Black Dragon Knight Vortimer, is Grade 2 with 9k. Van or rear, if you have a Stat of Darkness Vortimer in your soul, it gets plus 1k, so same thing.
10K.
When retired from rear by your card's ability, you can put it into your soul and countercharge 1. It's not bad. And then when wrote upon by Spectral Duke, like Matt said, look at top 5 and call 2 and shuffle. So,
Yeah.
doing the thing. And then Stat of Darkness Vortimer, grade 1, 8k. On Van, when placed, look at top 7. Reveal up to 1 Spectral Duke Dragon or Black Dragon Knight Vortimer, put it in your hand and shuffle. And when retired from rear by your card's ability, put it into your soul, and one of your Vanguards gets plus 5k. So,
Actual ride chain.
actual ride chain, for sure. Let's see. Hooray for them for reprinting Dindrain, I guess. Finally, I'm done with my portion for now. Matt, if you please.
Alrighty, so let's talk about Light Battle Dragon Gigano Blazer. So this is the Tachikaze boss from Clan Selection here. So he has a couple abilities. The first one is a continuous on Van. During your turn, if you have 3 or more new equip gauges were put this turn, all of your front row units get power plus 5,000. And then his act on Vanguard Circle, once per turn. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, draw 2 cards, call 2 cards, put 1 card from the top of your deck face down as a equip gauge for each of those units, the cards that you were called, of course. So its act is draw 2, call 2, and then you have to come up with another equip gauge from somewhere, which certainly you'll be able to. So that's something else. So he kind of turbos out some equip gauges, but only 1 on each.
Mm-hmm.
So this card at face value is definitely not leaning into. This is definitely leaning away from Angerblader, who is a absolutely ridiculous card, and is leaning more toward the Gaia side. And he does do everything that he needs to do on his first turn. It's pretty unfortunate that his continuous only gives 5k, but it does give it to the whole front row, which is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
And having a nice plussing act is okay, but I don't think it's just anywhere near the obvious stupid card that is Angerblader.
Yeah.
It's
I
really.
think we had a whole conversation.
Go ahead.
What were
sorry.
you going to say, Atlas?
No.
I was gonna say, we had a whole conversation about this on one of the Tangents episodes where I think we brought up how they just really regret Angerblader and are desperately trying to make something more reasonable.
Right.
But Angerblader still exists, and they unbanned it.
Yep.
I think because they realized that the only way people were gonna play Tachikaze, even with Angerblader at 1, was just to play the one Angerblader. So they're like, all right, fine, you can have yours back. Also, everything else is broken, so we kind of need to, you saw the tweet with Angerblader's head on Annabelle Lecter's body. You know the thing. Yep. Continue.
So the next card is a grade 2 named Spino extort, Blackmail Dragon Spino extort. It's a pretty weird name, honestly. It has an auto on Van or rear. When it attacks, kick CB1, retire another rear guard, draw a card, call up to 1 of the equip gauges from this unit. From the unit retired for this cost to rearguard circle, and then put the top card face down as equip gauge for the called unit. So this is another one of the effects that they started printing for in the Gaia set, where there's basically pretty much like, retire a guy, call 1 of its gauges. And again, the major concern with those cards is that you had no way to control those gauges. And so the extra attacks generated from those gauges would be fairly random. Now, the last card they printed is an attempt to fix that problem. It's called Savage Shooter. It's a grade 1. It has an auto on Van. When placed, you can Soul Blast 1, draw a card, call a card, and give it an equip gauge. And the more important is the second skill. On a rearguard circle only, you can rest this unit and put the card from your drop zone face down as an equip gauge for 1 of your rearguards without any equip gauges. So
Cool.
This is like one of the only cards that can actually set up specific equip gauges on your units. So if you are avoiding Angerblader at all costs due to, I don't know, what's a reason you would do that? Insanity or something of the sort.
Budget? Usually budget, I think.
How expensive is Angerblader? Anyway, it's V cards. They're all free right now, right?
Well, okay. Maybe at the time they weren't.
Oh, well, I don't think they're actually that free right now. I think people are still looking at premium pretty heavily. So,
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
I know that Anger Blader is still a thing in premium, so it's not like it's gonna go down.
You just don't even need your stride deck, man. Just kill him.
Yeah, it is. Let's see here. Anger Blader. While I wait for this to, it's like $8. Relax.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's $8.
$8. All right. Anyway, the second skill is super good. The first skill is like kind of replaceable, but otherwise neat card.
I mean, it's a Vanguard still, so
And they're reprinting Sweeper.
Oh yeah, they reprinted Sweeper because and Savage Trooper, which is also a dope card.
and Mega Rex, which was like a triple R from an early V set. So
yeah, but which any self-respecting Tachi player would have 4 of.
Yeah, but you know, new people or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's hard to say self-respecting Itachi player as a Itachi player.
He's got a good point.
Alrighty, so shall we talk about some ninja ladies?
Yep.
Or snow girls or whatever she is. Anyway, so Murakumo got a new Shirouki card because why not? So reminder that Shirouki was unlimited to 4, which is a relevant point in with this card now existing. So she has a continuous on deck or drop zone. This card is also regarded as Fantasy Petal Storm Shirouki, aka the old Shirouki. On guard circle, this card is when placed, choose one of your opponent's front row units and they get power minus 30,000 until end of battle. So unlike the old Shirouki, which would give power minus 10,000 in guard circle to 3 units, she just gives all of it to 1.
Yes, and you sold Blast 2 for it.
Yep, well, you sold Blast 2 for the other one also. So same cost, just all stacked together instead of random elsewhere. And has an auto on van or rear. When your unit's attack does not hit, if you have a Vanguard with Shirouki in its card name, you can counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's front row units, and it gets power minus 10,000 on a turn. If the student's on Vanguard circle, you may call a card with Shirouki in its card name from your drop zone to an open rearguard circle.
Not bad.
So the reason it has the name Fantasy Petal Storm Shirouki is to go with the old grade 1 stuff. But otherwise, yeah, pretty solid card. I'm not sure if you can even fit this in Yasui, and I think Yasui is probably still better. So there you go. But you have, I guess you can run like a split of Shiroukis if you wanted. Just because like the difference here of their guard circle skill is quite relevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they brought back Shadow Stitch.
Yep, they have a pseudo Shadow Stitch with the if your attack did not hit, you can minus 10k and call a Shirouki, I guess. Whack, honestly. So one of the other cards is they made Ice Fanged Princess Sudada Hime. So this is a grade 2, and it has an auto on Vanguard Circle only. When placed, you may call a card with Shirouki, its card name, from your hand to rearguard circle. If you called a card, at the end of turn, return the rearguard called with this effect to your hand. And if you have 1 or less cards in your soul charge 1. So basically this is saying, okay, well, on ride, you can call a Shirouki, and if you've paid a soul, you get it back. Because you're going to have your 0 and 1 in your soul at this time.
Yeah.
So pretty much can just make it, let you pay a soul cost early and get a little cheat away with it. But the real big part is generating this Shirouki attack without really committing the Shirouki, which I guess is fun.
And you get to reuse the Shirouki.
Yeah, exactly. Or ride it the next turn, anything.
Yeah.
And that's an auto on rearguard circle at the end of your turn. If you have a Vanguard with Shirouki in its name, you can put it into soul to return one of your normal units on rearguard circle to your hand. So you can combine this to return their Shirouki you just got with the Shirouki on Van. You can return any other normal unit that you want to protect for some reason. Lots of stuff going on with that.
Nothing like reusing those on-call stills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those on-call skills that Murakumo wants to reuse 8,000 times. And then the last card is Apprentice Yokai Sasame Yuki. So this is a grade 1 this time. And it has when placed, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal it to 1 card with Shirouki its card name, put the rest and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. On Vanguard only, by the way. And then an auto on rear, when your Vanguard with Shirouki its card name is placed, you can soul charge 1. It's actually not an irrelevant skill, because Shirouki does use a lot of soul. As both versions have Soul Blast 2 printed on them. But, I don't know. I guess you might play this if you're playing, like, the actual 8 Shirouki. But I'm not.
Because, like, what are the other ways to soul charge besides the aforementioned Ice Princess Jokotsu girl, and that's it? And the rainy gal that puts herself into soul?
Yeah, for the most part, in rewriting with if you're playing Yasuo, you're going to be rewriting a fair bit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Good point.
Oh, and Ogre.
Oh, right. Ogre. And then...
so you have actually a lot of, like, extra soul from random places.
Yeah.
That's good.
They'll be fine, I think.
And I just want to point out that they just didn't even bother putting the PR in the set.
Which PR?
Of course not. They gotta reprint all that dank Shirouki
the
support.
Soul Blast 1, give all units with the same name as this plus 5k.
Oh, yeah. The important one?
Yeah, it's an important one.
No, man, they gotta put
not in this set.
They gotta put Rainy Madame, the rare.
No. You have to have Abrupt Stealth Rogue Ario. I mean, which is the other PR, the newer PR they printed, which hadn't been printed yet, which is what they chose instead.
Oh.
Because Yasuo needs that, actually.
Well, they can only do one, apparently, so.
Yeah. The buzz cards.
Alright, Draconic Kaiser Vermillion, The Blood. So, grade 3, 12k, Excel Circle. Act, Vanguard, once per turn. Counterblast 1, put a card from hand to soul until end of turn, gets 5k and a drive, and when it attacks, it battles all of your opponent's front row. If you put Kaiser Vermillion into your soul, it gets 10k and a crit, on top of the 5 and a drive. So, if you do everything you're supposed to, and you put Vermillion in soul, you get 15k, a crit, and a drive. And attack the front row. Which is like 100 times better than the original Vermillion, where you got one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this requires putting the original Vermillion in your deck.
Yes. And then Act, you can Soul Blast the Kaiser her card and get drive +1 and deal this unit 1 damage.
So you could go 2 crit, quad drive, but you deal a damage to yourself.
Yes.
Dope.
Why was that a thing? Like, what's
Probably
the problem
some
with that?
It's a joke.
reason.
It's a joke because people kept damaging themselves to activate Vermilion skill back in the old days.
Mm.
Like, it was a really big deal. Like, people would try to keep Vermilion at 3 damage and like fill their front row, right?
Yeah.
And then Vermilion would be like damage at her, counterblast 3, attack your front row.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Oh,
It's just
so
I don't know why people always made this play, and it always did, and this always happened. So maybe they're just saying that.
I mean, I think that was the case with any like deck that had limit break stuff. You'd always run those damage adders, just to get you there. And then the best feeling is
like
getting a heal trigger.
Probably still not better than what's his face, Vanquisher.
No, it's not. It's a budget card. That's cool, I guess.
Sure.
And then
You have to play a lot of bad cards in your deck to make it work, though.
Yep.
It's okay. They reprinted Vermilion, so that's definitely the card they needed to reprint.
Yeah, we also
That
have
was like
Spark
8
Arrow
cents.
Dragon. Yeah, but it is from an ancient set, so they want to make sure people have it.
Fine.
Spark Arrow Dragon, grade 2, 9k. You have a Vanguard with Kaiser in its name, Soul Blast 1, retire itself. Search your deck for 1 card with Kaiser, ride it a stand, shuffle your deck, and until end of turn, when your opponent's rear guard would be retired, bind it instead of retiring it. Hard once per turn. So basically, seriously, don't ride the original Vermillion.
Yeah, pretty much. Cool art, I
Matt,
guess.
anything to say?
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay.
That speaks volumes.
Okay, we also have Thundervart Dragon, grade 1, 8k. One plays Vanguard or Rearguard Circle.
Ooh.
They are so random with this.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I guess because it only looks top 5, and you have to.
Well, this one
discard.
also doesn't put it in. Like, this one makes you discard, where the other ones don't.
And it's only top 5.
Right.
So unless you're Bermuda Triangle, you don't get the free version. So yeah, look at top 5 for Vermilion. Oh hey, this is original Vermilion or Spark Arrow Dragon. That means it can't search the blood.
Nope.
Incredible.
A plus card. When your Vanguard's attack hits, it gets power. This unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. You're probably going to hit if you're attacking the front row.
That, like, that makes sense at least. Like,
yeah,
you're
that part
probably...
makes sense, but it, like...
But
this
it counts
card
for
searches
each
out
hit,
the...
right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it
So
does.
if you hit the front row, this card could just be like 23k.
Yeah. So, good-ish. I feel like even if it just had that second skill, it might be okay.
Yeah. Would be a good beat stick. It's just, the searches the Vermillion that you definitely don't want to ride.
But you do want to put it in your soul.
Yeah. Okay, and then we get Rising Phoenix reprint. Woo.
That's good.
They did it at some point.
And the promo they chose was, like, really bad.
I don't even know what this card does, and I'm not going to read it.
It's if they have a board, it doesn't get to attack.
No, we're moving on. Star
Okay.
Raider, Chaos Breaker, Dragon.
Yep.
So grade 3, no gift, 13k. I don't think we did an episode about this. I did a write-up about this. So continuous Vanguard Rearguard. During your turn, if your opponent has a locked card, you get power plus 10,000. You can counterblast one. Your opponent gets an imaginary gift force. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards and lock it. When your opponent's card is unlocked, Soul Blast 1, retire one of those unlocked units. You draw a card. Your opponent removes a total of 2 markers from his circles or protect from their hand, and you get an imaginary gift force for each gift removed.
Yeah, if only there was an episode we had recorded before this that was maybe titled, I don't know, Chaos Control. That would have been a good title for it. It's totally not in our RSS feed. You can't find it. It's not there.
Hey, I can't remember every episode we've done before, okay? Even though this was probably only a couple weeks ago.
Wait, oh, you were being serious. I thought you were just doing a bit, and I was like, yes-anding it.
No, I was being serious. I legitimately could not remember.
I'm unclear how to approach this conversation right now.
I know, right?
So I'm just going to ignore it.
Okay. But, yeah, despite the fact that it steals gifts, it's whatever, I guess.
Well, it doesn't make gifts on its own, and as a standalone unit, you're giving up quite a bit of advantage, even if you lock down one column. Like, depending on the deck you're playing against, they just might not care. But anyways, there was also Bisection, Star Vader, Zirconium, so grade 2, 10k, when placed, if you have a Star Vader Vanguard, counterblast 1, your opponent checks top card, puts on open rearguard circle locked. If that lock card was put in the back row, draw a card, and this gets power plus 10,000. Continuous, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and they have a lock card, all your Vanguard's original crit becomes 2, so you can't use first 2 with it.
Well, you can. You would just be putting it on rear guards to begin with, and then, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that you'd want to.
But, nah, you don't have enough prep. That is one of Chaos's problems, is, like, he's the only one that gains any power from any of the support he has, so, like, you need your rear guards to power up Chaos and get your combo going, but then your rear guards are all really weak. Anyway, Star Vader Craving Claw, grade 1 AK. When its attack or the attack it boosted hits, check top 5 for a Star Vader and put it into your hand. Then if your rear guard circle act, if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, you can put it into Soul. Unlock one of their cards. If you unlock, your opponent chooses a different unit and locks it. So you need all 3 to make Chaos work the way it's intended to work, and, like, get the full lock and get you all the gifts that you stole from your opponent, but that's inconsistent, and you basically have to make your whole deck around drawing. So you just kind of have no way to end the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for Link Joker. See, this is kind of a case of too little, too late.
Yeah. The promo you guys are getting reprinted is kind of neat.
Which one is that?
Last Crust Marinal.
So, when placed from hand, if your opponent has a face-down card on Vanguard Circle or Bind Zone, you can power blast 1. bind 2 of their cards face down, and if you couldn't bind 2, countercharge, soul charge. That's pretty neat. It just doesn't work with any of the cards that are being printed this set.
Still neat though.
Yeah. Speaking of interesting but probably not very good cards, Evil God Bishop Gastile, coincidentally, also does not have a gift. Grade 3, 12k. Otto, Vanguard Circle. At the beginning of your battle phase, Counterblast 1, draw a card. Your opponent chooses one of the following effects for every 5 cards in your soul, and you perform all of them in any order. They can only choose each one once. All your front row gets critical +1. Your opponent's Vanguard power increases or decreases to 1 until end of turn. So if you somehow got them to 0 or negative power, it goes back to 1. Your opponent's auto abilities do not activate until end of turn. Your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and puts them into the damage zone face down. And this can kill them.
Yes, it can.
Realistically, you're probably not going to ping them at 5 unless you have 20 soul, which is pretty hard in standard.
Pretty hard anywhere, honestly.
Yeah, turning off auto abilities is probably the strongest one, but like, also, my experience with playing Sharhat is sometimes I will maybe get to 13k by my first grade 3 ride, so I feel like realistically you're only going to have around 10 going into your first grade 3 ride, especially if you went first, and then since your opponent chooses, they'll choose the least bad option for them. They could even choose to take the damage early. It does take a card out of their hand, though. But,
yeah,
depending on who...
Yeah, and it's not like face up. So, no counterblast for them.
Face down damage is pretty lame.
Now...
But, maybe Angel Feather could do something with it.
I don't know. I feel like this has more potential in premium because because of that Gastile stride where you can just rip this out of deck. And use the effect. Like, you use this and no life gain, and you're like, bam. That's a lot of pressure.
I would use this with Sharhat, honestly, because then you just have a restanding front row that's really big and has crits, probably.
I mean, I think what you would want to do is, like, have a deck that does the soul charging thing better because it's premium and you have the larger card pool, and then force the opponent to choose something they really don't want to. And and if that doesn't work, then go into No Life King and blow their brains out. Because you can. Or really anything. There's lots of stuff you can do. The Gastile Stride was such a badly designed card that every...
Surprised it hasn't been nuked from premium the way that Ichikishima has.
Yeah. Like, for a Stride that... Every grade 3 that's designed from here on has the potential to break that thing wide open, and arguably has. It's just like too much potential. I don't know. I'm expecting that thing to get nuked from orbit, but we'll see. Also, not having
because like this has the ability to turn off auto, which is what they nuked Ichikishima for. So if they think this is okay, then we should unban Ichikishima.
Yeah, agree. But it doesn't get a gift, so that's a balance or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why my stupid player voice is Kermit the Frog, but it is.
I also don't know.
Yeah, so...
Poisonic Abductor. I was trying to figure out how to read this card's name. When placed, counterblast 1 and discard from hand. Search your deck for up to 3 grade 2 or less normal units with the same card name. Put 2 cards into soul, call the rest to rearguard circle, shuffle.
That is so good.
The same as, like, what's it called? Emblem Master? Oh, wait. Emblem Blaster is also in this set.
It only gets grade 2s? How lame.
Yeah.
Well, 3 grade 2
grade
or
2
less.
Right, but still lame.
Yeah. But yeah, this is like Emblem Master, but Emblem Master gets you more soul, this card gets you a rear guard. But Emblem Master also gains power and shield.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You could always search Emblem Master.
I guess you don't need a million triples anymore since they banned hard legs.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. They also have Ironheart Assassin, which is the grade 1, 8k. When it attacks or boosts, you may soul charge 1. And if you soul charge and your soul has 3 copies of him, countercharge 1. And when rode upon, you may call this card to rearguard circle.
Cool.
Awkward, but fair.
Yeah.
I'd rather it didn't get called to rearguard circle. I guess it's a May.
Yeah. I guess if you rode this one and then called it out, you could use Emblem Master to put the rest of it into your soul. And then this
But then the fourth one would be in your hand. Oh, Emblem Master himself. Yeah, no, that works. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking the new guy. I was like, wait.
No, Emblem. Yeah, actual Emblem Master. So if you would ride this one, use Emblem Master to shove the other 3, so you can soul charge and counter charge every turn.
I see. Free or something.
Yes.
Alright. So another Dark Zone clan. Gear Chronicle. If you remember that they existed. I didn't. So they have a grade 4 because Gear Chronicle. Interdimensional Dragon, Time Leaper Dragon. I think they just ran out of names. So it has an auto and Vanguard circle. When it attacks, you can put a rear guard on the bottom of your deck. Search your deck for up to 1 card with a grade equal to the card put on the bottom of your deck for this cost grade plus 1. So if you put back a grade 2, you get a grade 3. Call it to rear guard circle. Shuffle your deck, and that unit gets power plus 10,000. That is the full effect.
I can't stop imagining. It's like Friday night. They just want to go home. They're like, oh, we're not letting you go home until you name this thing. Well, what does it do? It's Time Leap. Interdimensional Dragon, Time Leaper Dragon. Fuck this. I'm going
literally, that's what it's like. It's literally they just ran out of names.
They couldn't just recycle Chronos Command or something.
Nope.
Kind of looks like Chronos Command too.
A little
no,
bit.
It's not blue enough.
Right.
Anyway, I think this card's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that Gear Chronicle has enough other cool things going on that I'm like whatever about it.
Yeah. It's literally just Time Leap. We have Metallica Phoenix for that.
Oh, you could be playing like Next Stage or something with all the dumb rear guards that Gear Chronicle has.
Yep.
Which there are a lot of. So they also have Steam Gutter Zaid. So he has an auto on Banner Rear, 1 place, soul less 1, discard a card from hand. Draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards grade less than or equal to the card discarded from your hand for this card's cost, and retire it. So you discard a grade 3, you can pop a grade 3 or less. Discard a grade 4, you can pop a grade 4 or less. Whatever. And then it has an auto on rear. When it attacks, if you rode a grade 4 unit this turn, you can soul charge 1.
Not bad. Seems fine.
It is a card.
Yep.
And the last card is Lost Gear Dog 8. Weird name. It has an
Did
auto
George
on
Costanza name this dog?
No, that would be 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
No, this is George Costanza's younger brother who named his dog 8. All right. So auto on Banner Rear. When placed from hand, you can reveal a grade 3. If you do search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 card, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. If you put a grade card in your hand, choose one or more cards with the sum of grades being 3 or greater from your hand and discard them. So you can search for a jet, I guess.
This is infinitely worse than just the regular grade 3 searcher.
Yeah. And then if this card would be discarded, it may be discarded as grade 3.
Hey, look, stride fodder.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is it lets you... It's like one of the old stride fodders, except literally anything.
Yeah, but the old stride fodders could just discard any card. You didn't have to be a sum of grade 3.
I know,
so
but
this
it's
is still just worse.
Well, there's the trade-off. The trade-off is you get anything you want versus a specific thing. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying that's
the regular
reason.
grade 3 searchers could already do that, and they didn't have to discard a sum of grade 3. I don't know why this card has to.
And I guess English finally gets a Ribble, right? When it's discarded for your hand for this turn, you can soul blast 1, call it to your guard. It gets power plus 5,000, and until end of turn, you can put you put a normal unit from the
from the drop zone to the bottom.
Period. Put a normal unit from your drops in the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So it's like the card's just value.
Yeah.
Because you're already paying cost, getting a unit for it, and then drawing a card anyway. Like what? It just does it all.
Yep. Let's see. We for Granblue, we got Ghosty Leader Beatrice, grade 3, protect gift, 12k on Van Rear. When placed, use Soul Blast 1. Call a card not named Ghosty Leader Beatrice from drop zone to rear. Continuous on Vanguard Circle. All of your units with Ghosty in their card name on rear guard or guard circle get Intercept, Power plus 5k, and Shield plus 5k. And then also Otto on Vanguard, when your rear guard is retired by a card's ability during your turn, you can counterblast 1, call a card with Ghosty in its card name, and grade less than the grade of the retired unit from your drop zone to rear. So, the main thing that everyone got excited about was that you can use this to bring back the Pseudo-Denial Griffin combo in Premium without having to use the original Night Rose, because there is the Gdart that calls a Ghosty from drop zone. So you call this, and then use her ability to Soul Blast and call Skeleton Cannoneer, and then Skeleton Cannoneer blows something up and you draw a card. So, that is the thing you can do.
Do we care?
I care a little bit. Like, you would, even if you just run it at 1, because you can put anything in drop, so, you know, use it for that. Like, at the very least, it's that. Everything else, it's fine, I guess. It's defensive.
I feel like the best thing you could do with this is just play it with Night Rose, call it, and then use the Soul Blast to call something else so you get 2 attacks instead of just 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not play an actual Ghosty deck in Standard, because Standard Ghosties are terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just not really a thing. You're not going to be using it for its intended purpose. It's going to be, like, despite the name Leader, it's an ancillary card for the most part.
Yep.
There's Jessie, the Ghosty, grade 2, 9k. In the drop zone, you can retire 2 rear guards not named Jessie the Ghosty and call it to rear, and then hard once per turn on that. Not sure why you would, but you can. And then the other effect is on rear, when it attacks, it gets plus 5k till the end of that battle. At the end of that battle, retire this unit, and if you did not countercharge by the ability of Jessie the Ghosty this turn, countercharge 1. So.
A lot of hard ones per turns on that card.
Yes.
I think it has a use in Premium just because it allows you to kind of extend your multi-attacking combos, because it countercharges mid-battle phase, but otherwise not really. I can't really justify this thing's existence otherwise. There's also Damien the Ghosty, which, god damn, give the poor kid a hug. I just feel so bad for the thing. It looks like that emoji with the pleading eyes.
What's he scared for? He's a ghost. He's already dead.
I don't know. Casper was a friendly ghost. Why can't there be a fraidy ghost?
Yeah. Afraid of what?
8k, grade 1. On Vanguard Rear, when placed from hand, search your deck for up to 1 card with Ghosty, put it into your drop zone and shuffle. Okay. And then Otto on Rear, at the end of the battle, it attacked. If you have a Vanguard with Ghosty, you can retire this unit if you did not countercharge by Damien. So it's Jessie, basically, with that effect.
Boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wish that was boosted instead of attacked, but can't win them
Yeah.
all.
That'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it? Maybe too nice.
Yeah. I feel like Jessie might have some spots regardless, just because it countercharges. This seems not worth it. Mm-hmm. And also Jessie gains like 5k, so it's like an okay beater too.
Yeah. This thing is probably not going to be as much of a thing in Standard. In Premium, definitely not. So,
Oh man.
Yeah, Jessie's probably one of.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you would just tech a couple copies of Beatrice and Jessie into a Night Rose deck for like combo plays.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of the reprints, there's no promo. It's just all old triple Rs, which is good, honestly. Because Skull Dragon needed a reprint real bad.
Oh yeah, more Skull Dragons.
All right, but bugs. Actually, I never read bugs. I think Main Colony players are finally free. They don't need to think about this.
I kind of like this one.
All right, fine. We'll read it. So it's the grade 3 for one of the grade 3s for Mega Colony, I guess.
They're the only ones that get 2 grade 3.
Yeah. So Otto on Vanguard Circle. When a card is put into your opponent's damage zone during your turn, this unit gets power plus 10,000. That's not once per turn. So if they take 2 damage, it gets plus 20,000, etc. That's only on Van. So it has another Otto on Van. When it attacks, you can counterblast ones and put a rear guard into Soul. Until end of battle, even if a trigger unit is revealed for your opponent's damage check, that trigger effect does not activate, and you perform the same trigger effect as that card's effect. So it steals their triggers. Then you can Soul Blast a grade 3, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's damage zone, put them in his or her drop zone, and deal 1 damage to your opponent's Vanguard for each card put into his or her drop zone. So you're basically getting bonus drive checks for every damage you're dealing to your opponent.
Yep.
Which is pretty neato.
Yeah.
Well,
and no miracle heals.
Right, and no miracle heals on his attack because that'd be rude. In fact, you can randomly heal, I guess.
Yeah.
This card is pretty neat. It has the cost isn't that bad. Putting a rear guard into Soul is not too bad, especially since you might want to Soul Blast a grade 3 immediately afterward. Just throwing it out there. Yeah. And you can if your opponent checks a crit on damage, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
What?
Anything else I have to say about it?
No, this is a really neat card. Out of this entire set, this is probably one of the coolest cards.
It also has some of the worst art in this set.
Oh yeah.
It's so generic. See, if this had really impressive art, I might be more excited, because this actually seems like a really fun card to play.
What is this background? I don't understand. I just don't get it.
This just seems like a random grade 2 that they decided to make the boss.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So the other grade 3 in this set, for some reason, is Pincer Attack Mutant Intrude Scissors. So this has an auto in the drop zone at the end of battle that your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacked. If a new card is put in your opponent's damage zone this turn, you can counterblast 1 and call it to rear. And then on rear, it has when placed, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards to stand it, and this unit gets power plus 10,000 on the turn. So you're generating quite a few extra attacks off this card. Let's say you attack with a rear, attack with what's his name, Venom Stinger. Maybe hits for some reason, and if he hits, then you get to, or even later in the turn, let's say maybe he doesn't, guard it. You stack
because if you use Venom Stinger skill, then you have to do a damage check. So.
Yeah, but they need to take a damage for that to happen, right?
Well, yeah. If you use the Soul Blast.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it's just if any new card was put in their damage zone this turn, so if you use the Soul Blast grade 3 and force a damage check, this card will always be active.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
So yeah. Yep. And then you would call this card to stand your other rear guard, and then that rear guard can attack again, and Intrude Scissors can attack again. And be large. It'd be cool if Intrude Scissors said this unit and that unit get power plus 10,000, but where it's a little much.
Yeah.
And then the last card we have is a grade 1 for Mega Colony, a Mutant Gentleman High Class Moth who has a big fancy hat. And it has a continuous effect that in deck and soul is regarded as grade 3, which is a super dope effect in specifically Mega Colony. Yes. And then and it has an act on rear. You can rest it, put a normal unit on the bottom from the drops on the bottom of your deck, countercharge 1, choose one of your rear guards, and that unit cannot intercept this turn, and it's hard once per turn.
Yeah.
Opponent's rear guard, not yours.
Yeah.
Oh, opponent.
I wonder who needs a grade 3 in soul.
Yeah, it could be anything.
This guy is incredibly fabulous.
So,
yeah,
he is very, very big hat, very pseudo coat, not coat, but like wings floof. Or whatever. Yeah, a lot of floof for sure.
And
I can't believe Mega Colony ended up being one of the most interesting and potentially powerful clans out of this set.
I know. Well, frankly, they deserved it. Honestly, like. Both ninja clans and Mega Colony deserve to be good.
Up a fit before you kill them off.
Yeah, exactly. And then they brought back Stealth Millipede. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because was a pain in the ass to get for a long time. And then Root Beer.
Alright, Maiden of Stand Peony. So, grade 3, force, 13k. Auto Vanguard Rearguard Circle. When placed, call up to 1 token to Rearguard. If it's on Vanguard Circle, call 2 instead of 1. And then Auto Vanguard Circle and attack, counter +1. Retire 4 Rearguards. Call 4 plant tokens, and if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, all your token units and this unit get power plus 10,000 until end of turn.
This card's so dope.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
This card's actually good in this set. It's weird.
And it's like good in premium because they have that 1 plant token support.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm like seriously considering buying a bunch of like Neo Nectar stuff, but I also just spent way too much money on Bermuda
SPs.
cards. Yes.
Makes sense.
Maiden of Fall Vine. Grade 2, 10k. When placed from hand to the rearguard circle with a plant token, draw a card, and this unit gets power plus 5 until end of turn. So if you just have an excess of plant tokens for some reason, you can plus and get 5k.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I don't know if it's replacing some of the other staple cards, but...
Kind of sucks that it's from hand.
Mm-hmm.
But, whatever.
And then... Maiden of Flower Carpet, grade 1, 8k. When placed, you may call plant token to rearguard circle, Vanguard rearguard. So this free token generator like Sylvia. And then drop zone, at the end of your turn, you can retire 2 plant tokens, return it to your hand, hard once per turn. So you get like free tokens generator every turn, or a potential 10k shield if you really need that.
Well, I think you would, just because you have so many ways to call plant tokens. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Well, like you could even have a turn where you you fill your board with like this and a couple other cards.
Mm-hmm.
You attack with Stand Peony, retire 4, call 4 plants, leave Maiden of Flower Carpet like behind Van or something, right? 30-30, end of turn, retire 2 of those plants, bounce Flower Carpet.
Yep.
And like now this card's going to generate 2 more spaces on your next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Like regardless of what happens to the plants in play, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is like... Neo Nectar is the other just really good out of the set.
Yep.
You also got, they put 2 token reprints in this. So...
Sure did.
Read them?
What?
He wanted us to
which...
read. He wants to read the token reprints, apparently.
Yes, please.
Okay. Trying to figure out which ones I'm talking about.
It's
right.
Autumn Maiden and Maiden of Nepenthes. Something.
Maiden of the Penthes.
Thank you.
Retire a plant token. Act Vanguard Rearguard Circle once per turn. Retire a plant token. Draw a card. Till end of turn that gets boost in 5k. When it boosts a grade 3 Rearguard, you may have the boosted unit get crit +1 until end of battle. If you do, put it into your soul. Yeah, it's like decent.
Mm-hmm.
Autumn's Turning Maiden Rosie is Auto Rearguard Circle at the end of battle, attack Vanguard, counterblast 1, retire grade 0 rear card, draw a card. One of your units gets power plus 5k until end of turn. Little. This
Why
one's
is that
less
card
exciting.
reprinted? Why is that card reprinted? It was
Yeah.
random. But Fruits Basket was one that retired itself to make 2 plants, right?
Yeah.
Which is more
Yep.
relevant.
Far more relevant. And they get 5k if your Vanguard is grade 3, so like...
Basically when you want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's that their set.
Yep. So, who wins? Who loses?
I think in the lead here is definitely actually I don't know how much Angel Feather's in the lead, but I think that stuff's cool. People get it who got their PRs, so Gears, Merkumo getting their PR is pretty relevant. and Mega Colony stuff seems neat. But I think Neonectar cards, as far as like new cards in the set, are the best ones.
Yeah.
But I think any of the clans who are already pretty good that got their promos are or like relevant new support like Angel Feather are probably better.
Mm-hmm. So like Granblue, you might be able to do some interesting things with Beatrice. I think Mega Colony and Neonectar are the most like obviously you just look at the support cards they got and you go, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, like the zoo clans in this set definitely like everything that came out for them was the most cohesive together. It is probably going to be important for the decks they go into. I'm not sure how that's going to work out for premium, but
yeah. Well, Neonectar, they're supporting an existing playstyle, and then for Mega Colony, the new cards they printed don't necessarily interfere with any of your old ones, so this is Venom Stinger is generic enough, since you're also going to be playing Intrude Scissors and probably High Class Moth, that you already have a good chunk of your deck figured out, and then you just kind of bring in the generically good cards that plus or gain power or whatever.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the guy in the fancy hat being a grade 3, like, that does so much even for something like...
Yeah.
What's his face? Antlion.
Cole Magnum?
Cole Magnum. Go fuck
wait,
yourself.
that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. I think, what's it called? Tachikaze also...
You can recycle Cole Magnums, and that's what matters.
Yes, exactly. I think Tachikaze really benefited just in terms of the reprints. You know, Sweeper Concerto, Savage Trooper, Mega Rex, those were all super important.
Reprint Anger Blader.
No, they didn't reprint Anger Blader. That was on purpose, unfortunately. Also, it's $8. Yep. Relax.
And we're the one saying if something else was a budget option.
I was just trying to like give a reason why, for us to not be mean, because we're usually mean about stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm very mean. I'm toxic.
Yeah, but Savage Shooter and Spina Extort are both really good, and Gigano Blazer's okay, I guess. But yeah, that does it for this set. Obviously, we're gonna do the set review for Clan Selection Plus 2 when that finishes filling out. I'm sure we'll be just as annoyed when we do that one.
I'll be more annoyed.
Yeah, he'll be more. I think we'll be okay because there are some cards we actually like in this set.
There's no Daikaiser, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We still don't know what that does, huh?
The Zeal. No, we don't.
Zeal.
Yeah.
And they're revealing Valeos next week.
Yeah. All of my clans except for Granblue are in Clan Selection Plus 2, so like that's where I think I get to shine. But we will see. Yeah, thanks everybody for listening to this week's episode of Nexus at Nights. As always, you can find the show on Twitter or Instagram at Nexus at Night, or if you want to help support us, patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Donate $5. That's like a cup of coffee a month. And you get access to a whole ass other bonus show every week, plus write-ups and random videos like root beer failing at mulliganing twice in a row. Yeah, thanks for listening. Where can people find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs.
Find me at Plasma Eclipse.
And then find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram. And then thanks to $10 patrons Darren and Cole for supporting the show. And also Nexus at Night has a YouTube channel now. So link for that will be in the show notes like usual. And until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm going to be putting this on YouTube. I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.